really nice bold ruler heifer. Are you gonna be good enough to stay? Huh, kiddo? I hope so. You're out of a really good mom. Nora gets a green one. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, it is a fresh week. It is Monday afternoon, and Dad's been hauling. I gotta remember to make all my little tick marks so we got a good idea on how much we've hauled. Doesn't really matter how many loads we've hauled. It's always just kind of neat to like look back and be like, yeah, we hauled that many and all that stuff. But Dad's been chipping away out here on the pile. So what I'm gonna do right now is when he's spreading, he goes down, he kind of makes an L shape, and he said he's running into a couple of the stock bales that are still left down there. So I'm gonna throw the spike on and I'm going to go move a few of those bales for him. Then when we come back, we'll get these calves out of here, these heifers and steers, and we'll get back in this barn because we need to do a couple loads, because tomorrow we're pulling CIDRs and kicking these guys into heat, hopefully. Surprising how much manure we already have on this field, or not necessarily manure, but how much we already have covered. So we're just getting these couple of bales out of the way, and there's two that he already went around when he was spreading, but that's not a big deal. We've already covered that area. We'll pick those up when we get these bales, which will probably be like, well, it'll be later this week, maybe Wednesday, because tomorrow's CIDR day. That's a half to get done, and then maybe Wednesday we'll come down here and grab a bunch. Honestly, by then he'll probably have the area that's available, he'll probably have that covered. All right, so we're back in the barn. We probably have 2 full loads and then we should be complete, but this stuff is pretty solid. But we're halfway through the barn. And I think we had 2 loads yesterday out of here. But I gotta finish that spot. This one right here. I got that, you guys saw me do that little corner over there. Well, not a little corner, I mean, still 8 inches, 10 inches deep. But got up to that post, now I gotta go from post to post. But I have to do this spot because this is the one area where Dad can't reach. So, let's get going. That's another spot down. Gonna clean up some edges before I start getting into that corner and this corner here. Plus Dad can pull here and here. Now I'm kind of really just in cleanup mode. Whatever he can't get, I get. All right, definitely went with the full bucket today. I actually dove in a little too deep, but that's all right. All righty. Made a bunch of little piles. I was able to get it sifted out pretty decent. Maybe CL913. To double check, I don't have her marked down already. How's it going, Jeff? Jeff. Spelled with a P, but the P is silent. So we're definitely making some progress. There is more than the 2 loads that I thought in here. There's at least a load and a half left in here. We're making progress, and we're out of the area that we need to be out of, which is up to this point. This is really just one swipe to clean that up. The silver tank, we dumped that out. That's why it looks like there's water on the floor, because honestly, you dump it on some manure and you're sweeping it out of here. But that thing needed to get cleaned out. I've been forking in this corner here, getting quite a bit of that out of there. Honestly, because that's easy, that sucks. So, making progress. All right, it is Tuesday afternoon, and should be a pretty big Tuesday as well. Dad's been hauling some loads, so that's good. And then I'm gonna start feeding because we gotta pull CIDRs tonight. And we had put up the border. I had put the border up yesterday because it was like, okay, if we get everything done, possibly we just leave the heifers north of the border, like some of these cows, over the spring. Well, these two trapped themselves in here because they rubbed that panel shut. Well, I'm gonna kick them inside and see if I can lure or give these other ones the opportunity to come inside and basically trap them all. We'll see how this goes. Come on, girls. Where are you going? There we go. There we go. Alrighty, that wasn't too bad. Now they're sorted. Heifers can kind of hang out north of the border. They can go inside or out. And they're together. So we found out why it looked like Dad got a lot done, because he got like 8 loads hauled today, which for us was a pretty darn good day. Loading, hauling, like a load takes probably 50 minutes to load it, haul it, unload it, bring her back. So yeah, that's why he looks like he got quite a bit done. Really nice bold ruler heifer. And this is our Gibbs Essential. Showed him yesterday. Really, really nice. Are you going to be good enough to stay? Huh, kiddo? I hope so. You're out of a really good mom. Good mom, good bull. Should make for a good female. And then there's Curly Q. Everybody's so curious today. Here's Deja's steer calf. He looks awesome. His like build, that is the one thing about Deja. She definitely has good calves. And we got Marigold's little kingpin heifer. Another good one. A lot of nice looking calves out here. I mean, I know I'm biased, but you know, hey, can't help it. Definitely a different style of hay. This is like the one we had yesterday, but it definitely has some stiffer alfalfa and possibly some, is there? Oh yeah, there is. There's Timothy in here. So for us, if we ever get a chance to bale Timothy, sometimes it ends up meaning that it's a little late. I don't know if we planted like later maturing Timothy or something, but for us down here, when the Timothy comes in, that usually means our hay is running a little late, which the last couple of years it has been. But then that also means that sometimes the Timothy gets a little tough. It's still really nice hay, but gets a little bit on that tougher side. Here's our other moneymaker bull. I think he'll turn out just fine. His mom, or no, not his mom. I found a tag. A 431 lost her tag. And I wouldn't mind finding her just so I can take a good look at her. I know what she looks like. We'll put a new hole in her ear too, because her ear hair is so damn long. Right, Photo? Huh, kiddo? Her ear hair is always so dang long, it always covers up the number. Oh, there she is. She's right here. This is one of our cowboy cut daughters. And it's nice to see that these girls are starting to clean up after kind of a cruddy winter. Yeah, you see how long her ear hair is? That's that classic Simmy. I like that. Cher is interrupting Dad's feeding. Come on, up. And then of course there's Pixel. Disregard the factor on the tag. We're gonna get that checked out. I don't know why I wrote that down, but I have a note for me in my notes to remember that she is not a factor, or at least she's not supposed to be. But if she was a factor, I wouldn't care anyways. We probably still might keep her. We'll get her DNA tested if we want. If she's on the keeper list, she'll get DNA tested. And pull the cedar. I think it was what, halfway between here, so like right in here. All right. So I'm just using a little bit of spray adhesive, just as belt and suspenders for those things. So, and like I said, I'm keeping them in my pocket to help keep them warm. Nora gets a green one. Well, pulling cedars went really, really well. It's always kind of nice. All you got to do is pluck those things out, give them a shot, and on their way. And it seemed like the patches went decent. Again, I just used the spray since this is our first year using it. It's kind of belt and suspenders. It's not supposed to rain tonight, so that glue should dry. And if anything, it's just going to be harder for me to take them off. Again, used the pink ones for the black cows, and then used, I had gotten a couple of green ones to go on our reds, whether it's the Flex or like 53, because 53's already been in heat, so she's a candidate to come in for AI. But went pretty darn smooth. Is like a nice little reminder for them coming through the chute. I also set up that little red gate so they can't balk in that first corner going off to the right. Definitely, flow definitely helps. I was reminded of that when we put CIDRs in last week. So everybody went down the chute much better. Nora was even a slight improvement. She was better behaved. So everybody should start coming into heat either Thursday and definitely into Friday. All right, it is Wednesday afternoon, and we get to start out the day transferring semen into the semen tank. So my IPU pull elevation showed up today, which is awesome, which means I think we're going to put that one on Nora because I know he's heifer safe, and then I know I at least get to try him at least one time. Because I'm 99% sure I'll be able to use a kingpin later as well. Get this transferred over. So that's done, and then this tank can get, their shipping container can get put back on the porch, because usually it's like within 2 days they'll come back through and pick it up and send it back, or there'll be instructions in here and I'll have to take it to like UPS and send it back or something. I'm not sure yet, so we'll see. I'm always a little leery of handling the straws. I'm just not used to it, obviously. I mean, we don't do our own breeding, so I'm always a little leery of it. But the biggest thing is going from one tank to the other. You just want to know what you're doing, have a plan for where it's going, kind of have your can set up where it's going so that you can just pull, lift, drop, set it back in, and be good. For the most part, like, you can lift this up about 3 or 4 inches and really not be exposing anything in the can to any kind of negative atmosphere. So I think we're gonna put it in the black one. Black one is pretty full. What about the silver one? I don't think there's a lot in the silver one. How about the red one? Yeah, we're gonna have to put it in the red one. Well, transfer is complete. This guy's buttoned back up, and I will put this back on the porch. Because then what will happen is, this was delivered by Speedy. I don't know if it's, I'm guessing Speedy will come back. But it could be UPS or FedEx in the past. But a driver will come back in a day or two, and they'll pick it up. So this is the guy that broke. Zoom in real close there. There's a crack. And when you don't notice it, it leaks a lot. All right, it is Thursday afternoon, and we've got a couple heifers in heat, which usually happens when we do our sync program. And I am already a fan of the Estrotect patches. I looked at like 5 o'clock this morning on the cameras, and there was some good mulling around. And it's just starting to get light out, or at least decently light out, right before I leave for work. And I'm looking out the kitchen window. It's probably 50 yards from the window to the yard, and I could see a bright pink patch from the window 50 yards away. So that was pretty cool. And then on the cameras today, you could definitely tell one of the blacks is in heat, and then Nora the Fleck is in heat as well. But there's also somebody in heat out on the field. We're gonna see if we can get her in. This is gonna be interesting, but we also have to find out who it is. So it is that, what, EGK 301, that really nice True Justice daughter that had Jeff's mom, the one that screams a lot. We're gonna try and finagle everything and try and get her in. This is gonna be interesting. But first, we need to get the bulls out of here. All right, we got her in. Dad also thought that our red 53 looked pretty scratched off, so we brought her in as well. And worst case, our tech will sleeve, check her out, and he'll say, yeah, she's good to try and breed or not. So now I'm going to try and get these girls in the barn, the heifers, so I can try and get those two north of the border. Here you go. You can see Nora, a lot of green. That one, a couple scuffs. This one totally rubbed. This one's like 90% rubbed. So we'll breed her. So I'm definitely a fan. I like the fact that you can tell that the color is there. You don't have to determine, oh, enough color was taken off kind of thing with the paint. And if you're dumb like me and you put too much paint on, then you don't exactly get a good result either. So definitely a fan. I think we'll be using these more. Come on, girls. All right, so this is what the board looks like today. It's actually turned into a pretty darn nice day. We got 5 because we got in 301 and 53. 301's gotten bold ruler 3 years in a row, so we're gonna try something different, and we're going with essential. I didn't necessarily want to use Moneymaker or High Life or Mic Drop because of chrome on chrome. And then we're just going to go with True Justice on 53. Well, that went pretty darn decent. We got 5 animals bred. That 53 was in heat. Whether she was a little early or a little late, that we don't know. All right, we're putting these girls back out on the field. We grabbed their calves because we weren't quite sure how long we were going to hang on to them. So looks like we got one. Looks like we got one calf with a bum knee. That might have been from literally just in the last hour or so because of all the rutting around. Might have just gotten in a bad spot. All right, time to let the bulls back in. Just want to make one last glance over to the wires to make sure I got them all hooked up. And don't forget, that's 301, the steer. He's just hanging out with them for an extra buddy. And this is our littler guy, but he's still looking pretty darn nice. I mean, from where he was a couple months ago. And then we got our 53. Well, actually, both of those two are 53s, but they're different 53s. So I think getting a hold of our nutritionalist when we did was definitely a good call. Getting the distiller grains, these guys have really bulked up, especially the bulls. We have not really wanted to push the heifers quite as much. I think they definitely have developed nicely without getting too fat, you know, kind of like McFats last year. I think we have heifers that are in really good shape but not over conditioned. Did tell Dad is this whole crew out here has not been vaccinated and wormed yet. In like a week and a half or 2 weeks, this whole crew is going to come and get vaccinated and wormed. Well, I had gone with the Vista product this year. I can't give Vista to the 2 we just bred. So I'm going to have to get, if I don't have a bottle left from the fall that hasn't expired yet, which is a possibility, it's a possibility, then I'm going to order 1 bottle of the Virus Shield, the stuff I used to get, because that is a killed product and I can use that on pregnant animals. Hey, happy Friday. All right, I am home from work and we are fresh out of activity, but we got some freshly rubbed off tags. So for sure. So this is the 913. There's Nikon over there. All right, so everybody turned out pretty good, and this is what we ended up with. Who got bred today? Nikon got Moneymaker. The 913, the Bold Ruler daughter, she got Eagle. So that was one of our 3 shots left of that. And then 53 got Bold Ruler because she had a really nice Bold Ruler calf last year. All right, it is Friday. It is the end of the day, and I have got a fish fry coming up somewhere. Not sure yet, but we got to go pick up our dog. So, all right, I hope you guys liked the video. Please smash that like button on your way out. And definitely, if you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Help support us here at Ohrmundt Simmentals and help us get to our goal of 4,000 subs by the end of the year. We're getting there, slow but sure. And as always, thanks for coming along.